This is Do You Trust Me, a Ray X reader by Fluffbuff on Wattpad. Please go follow them. This is Chapter 11, Human World. You sat on your bed finishing an embroidery. It's been 4 years since you got shipped. All the other girls here were so competitive they sabotaged you and beat you up all the time in physical training, anything to put them on top. You thought you'd never make it, but Isabella became grandma. The moment Isabella saw you here, all bruised and hurt, she made you skip physical training most of the time. It was really lonely, but the first week of training was awful. But now at least you could put up more of a fight, because of course you weren't as strong as Sister Krona or Isabella. But when you and Isabella talked again, you were so relieved to hear that the kids escaped besides the kids under 4 years. You believed Emma was going to come back to save the rest of them, but you wondered what was going to happen to you. You sat down at a table with Isabella drinking tea. "Wayan, do you believe the children are still alive?" she asked, pouring herself a cup of tea. "Yes," you said confidently. "I believe they are alive as well," she smiled. You took a small sip of tea, waiting for Isabella to say something. "Wayan, it's time I tell you about this new plan," Isabella said. "You were a sister at another farm. Isabella didn't want to risk you getting hurt. You supported her completely because of what she told you." Flashback. "Wayan, I found these in the house. They were deep under the floorboards. It survived the fire," Isabella said, handing you 2 letters. On both of the letters, there was the name of the person it was addressed to you. To Wayan, you slowly and carefully opened the envelopes and read every word inside it. It was from Ray. In the letters, he told you how he felt and what happened. You silently cried reading this note. You couldn't be happier. You regretted not telling him how you felt before you stepped out that door. End of flashback. You sighed in happiness as you helped tie one of the kids' shoelaces. The mother of this farm was oblivious to all that was happening. Soon, we will all be free, and you could reunite with Ray. You were rather shy to tell your feelings straight to Ray's face, so you also wrote a letter. You were planning to hand it to him when they come to retrieve the children here. Phil, Sherry, and other kids are at this farm. You knew Phil knew. He came to you to talk about it. And he told you what Emma told him, which reassured you more that this plan was going to succeed. You carried one of the babies in your arms with other children surrounding you, tugging on your skirt. You heard the gate open. "Who is it? Is it Isabella?" You questioned it, and you handed the baby to one of the children and dashed to the forest. You saw Phil and Emma hugging tightly, crying. "Emma!" You smiled happily. "Huh?" Emma said, looking up at you who was calling her name. You slowed down. You got closer to Emma. "It's me." You were cut off by Emma throwing herself onto you. "Wayan, I didn't think this day could get any better. You're alive," Emma said, squeezing you so tightly that you thought your arms would be shattered. "I'm so happy you're all okay," you said, relieved. You heard footsteps rustling on the grass. You pulled away from Emma's hug and stood up to see a familiar face. You rolled closer to gain a clear image. Ray. He got taller, a lot taller. His hair got a little messier. He looked a lot more like Isabella. He was handsome, really handsome. You confronted him, hoping he'd recognize you. "Wayan," he said, caressing your cheek with the back of his hand. You nodded happily, tears filling in your eyes. Yeah, Ray, it's me," you cried. He embraced you like he was never going to let you go. You both fell to your knees in a hug as you both apologized to each other. I'm so glad," Ray exclaimed. You clutched onto him tightly. He pulled away from you, holding your face. "Huh, you're so pretty," he said with an awestruck look. You giggled, brushing his bangs out of his face to reveal his other eye. "You're handsome," you said, pinching his cheeks. He chuckled. "That's what you meant when you said we'd meet again," he said, in the crook of your neck. "Yes, but I'm so sorry about Normie," said Patrick. "Huh? How'd you know about that? And he's not actually dead." He said, confused. "Huh, Norman's not dead? But in the letters you said..." Letters? What letters?" Ray's eyes widened when he saw them. "Oh, those letters," he said, smiling. "I was wrong. Norman's alive. Other than that, everything in that note was true. especially. Ray pointed out a sentence in the letter. This part, he said smugly with a huge grin on his face. The sentence read, I love you. You blinked the tears out of your eyes and stood up, pulling Ray up with you. Then you pulled out a third letter. He looked at me shyly, and he handed it to him. I also have a letter for, he stammered, for me. He asked, grabbing the letter. You beamed. He was about to open it on the spot, but you stopped him. Please don't read it here. I'm going to die of embarrassment, you said, covering your face. He laughed and lovingly patted your head. Okay, then. He smiled brightly. He then gave you a peck on the cheek. I'm pretty sure I know what it says already. That was the end of that. This is the end of the story, actually. So this is the end of Do You Trust Me, a Ray X reader. I'm actually think I'm going to cry now because that was the end of it. Yeah, finished the series.